Good morning, church. This might be familiar to many of you from Luke chapter 10. On one occasion, an expert of the law stood up to test Jesus. Teacher, he asked, what must I do to inherit eternal life? What is written in the law? Jesus replied. How do you read it? He answered, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. You have answered correctly, Jesus replied. Do this and you will live. But he wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor? In reply, Jesus said, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he fell into the hands of robbers. They stripped him of his clothes and beat him and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too a Levite, when he came to the place, saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came to the man, where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him, and he bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey and took him to an inn and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have had. Which of these 3 do you think was the neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The expert in the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. And Jesus told him, go and do likewise. In this story, the Samaritan takes care of his enemy, this Jewish man who was beaten up. And even the priest and the Levite, who are teachers, who are caretakers of the law, ignore their own. But his mortal enemy takes care of him and goes out of his way to take care of him and gives him his own clothes and puts him on his own donkey and spends his own money to care for him. And Jesus says, this is the man who shows mercy, and go and do likewise. As we have watched carefully as our community COVID numbers have spiked, as we have looked at the governor's guidelines, as we have seen the CDC recommendations, and the Evangelical Covenant Church's encouragement to all churches to err on the side of caution, the council at Scandia Covenant Church has agreed to suspend in-person gatherings on Sunday morning, beginning this Sunday, November 29th. We don't make this decision lightly. We don't love this decision. This is very hard for us to make, but we feel it's the right decision to care for all of us in this community. Particularly as we enter into this Advent season, a season full of tradition, full of a time of comfort for us. This is hard to do, but we think it's the right decision to make for the safety of the entire Scandia community, and particularly the faith community at Scandia Covenant Church, and that we would model caring for each other for the people that are outside of our faith community. So we will begin and go back to virtual worship beginning this Sunday. There will be a video up at 10 a.m. Sunday morning. We are working really hard already to include all of the elements of normal Advent worship and to keep as much normal as we possibly can in very non-normal times. We will continue to monitor numbers and monitor guidelines, and we'll continue to make decisions and keep you in the loop as best we can. If you have questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to me or one of the other members of council, and we will try to help you understand as best as we possibly can. Know that you are being prayed for, and know that we care very much about you. And we don't take this lightly in any way, shape, or form. Friends, I pray that you have a blessed Thanksgiving, that you can appreciate what we do have and how blessed we are with where we live and what we have. Many blessings to you. Make sure you wash your hands and wear your mask.